Pete the cat is this evil guy, right? He wants to take over everything. He's a really good cop, but he gets hurt. So there's a dog that also gets hurt. So they put the dog's head on the cop. He becomes the super cop, the super dog cop, and then it's dog versus cat. I think Petey is like a super cool, relatable character because he's very flawed and had a tough past, and he, which made him rather evil and upset. But deep down, you could tell he doesn't want to be evil. He just wants to be loved. If you're a Dogman fan, if you're a fan of the books, I think what DreamWorks and especially Dave Pilkey does so well is that he knows you love the book, so he makes sure that that's what you're seeing on screen. And the two together, it's really beautiful to see. It's cool stuff.
I think kids love crazy, over-the-top stuff. Their brain is a sponge, isn't it, taking in everything. So every new thing is stimulating, I guess. So something as mad and crazy as this, I don't think they're gonna have seen anything like it before.
It has been so much fun working on a DreamWorks animation movie. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the books. So I was familiar with all the characters and I was familiar with the world. And it's just been wonderful seeing it all come together and adding the lighting and just really seeing how true it's stuck to the books, which I think is so vital, particularly when a series is as successful as Dogman. I play Sarah Hatoff, who is the best reporter in the whole town. So she's on top of all of the stories and anything that goes on, current affairs. And she ends up becoming a wonderful ally to Dogman as the story progresses. It feels just really true to the original material. And I also think the pacing of this story is in keeping with the books. The colors, I just think everything about it is going to be really satisfying for fans, and those who aren't fans are just going to discover it. It has inherent wackiness. Dogman is like a very funny concept, and I think it's going to work across, the tri-quadrant. I think adults will love it, kids will love it. I think it's going to be really fun watch.
This has been a lot of fun. I like Chief is kind of always frustrated and loud and really hilarious, to be honest with you. It's such a great book series, and making Chief come to life and putting a voice to Chief for the first time is really cool. 3 adjectives to describe Dogman the movie is it's very fun, it's very adventurous. Okay, it's a lot of adventures happening. It's a lot of action, and it's really just really funny. This is a hilarious movie that I think parents and kids are gonna have tears in their eyes laughing at.
It's fun because he's a good director and he makes me laugh. Because it's a really good movie and it's a funny movie.
I was talking to one of the producers about this, and it always goes back to the source material. And if that's good, then things then build on that. And the source material for this is so good, and kids have loved it for so long that I think the movie version is just the next level of that. But you have to start with the great source material.
I think kids are going to love Dogman because they love dogs, first of all. And they're always using their imagination. That's what DreamWorks is about, is using your imagination. And we can get them back to using their imagination and not be so dependent on the Kindle and the iPad and all that. And they can watch something and really put themselves in Dogman's place. I think it's going to be great. I like being directed. I like directors to tell me what you want from me and let me try to do that. I like to try to deliver. And Peter's great.
I think one of my favorite things in Dave's writing is that I think they're intelligently silly. It's like there's a lot of crazy, silly stuff going on, but it's always clever, it's always smart, and the intelligent and the silly happen at the same time. And that's just one of my favorite styles of comedy. The other thing is that Dave puts in wonderful messages in there about life experiences and about family and about doing good and about being positive, and he also goes to some surprisingly deep places emotionally when it comes to family and real life situations. They're all hidden in there under this really fun and silly and crazy story. It was really important to stay true to the style of the books because it has so much to do with the sensibility. It's not just a story written out. It's the simpleness of the drawings, the way the lettering is done. All of these things are part of the humor, they're part of the innocence, and part of the charm of the property. So what was really important was, how do we retain all those things? And we came up with this thing that I called high-end handmade, which is like we want to retain that charm. So there are crooked lines, there's brush strokes, there's all this, the character designs are very similar to the book, but again, where it's about expanding that world and building on it, not reimagining it and changing it. At the beginning of the movie, we have a dumb cop, Officer Knight, and he has his police dog, Greg the dog, and they're in pursuit of Petey, the world's most evilest cat. But Petey set a trap for them. There's an explosion. They end up in the hospital, and they're told, sorry, cop, your head's no good, but your body's okay. And dog, your head's okay, but your body's no good. And then the nurse suggests the thing that any of us would say, which is, hey, why don't we sew the dog's head onto the man's body? So that's what they do, and Dogman is born. Unfortunately for Petey, he has now created a super cop. He's got a smart dog head on a strong man's body, and the two of them are trying to basically take each other out. Dogman's trying to capture Petey, Petey's trying to get rid of Dogman. When you write something and it's intended to be comedic and you give it to the right actor, it's like you just put a key in the door and unlocked it, and they opened the door. So Lil Rel Howery, Pete Davidson, everybody that's in this movie, Isla Fisher, just bringing their comedic chops so they can take a line, they breathe life into it, and it becomes funny on top of that, which is a combination of the sound of their voice, their timing, and just their expertise. It's been great working with all of these actors who are very good with comedy because they elevate what you started with. So Dogman is the head of the dog, the body of a human. He is half man, half dog, all hero. But Dogman is really kind of a dog. So he is loyal, he is loving, he is caring, he is enthusiastic, he's a really good cop, and he will lick you all over your face.
It's super silly, obviously, but it has real emotion in it, and it has the way Peter has directed it, when you see him in animation dailies, it's about making it real. Sometimes the funniest comedy is the most serious. If you watch the old Pink Panther movies, he's taking it very seriously. And as a result, we're laughing like crazy. So there's adult themes in the story that are all in the middle of this crazy world. And there are references. Dave Pilkey's books, all of them have references to classics, ask not for whom the ball rolls, it rolls for thee. So there's a level of satire that's adult that kids aren't going to get unless they, one day read these books and go, wait a minute. So there's humor for adults. The kids just love every second of it. And it's girded in a reality. As much as you can have a dog and a cop's body sewn together and ground that in reality, Peter has done that. And so I think intelligently silly. In the beginning, when I heard him say that, I thought, okay, let's see what happens. And he's exactly delivered that. When we heard that Pete Davidson might be interested in doing an animated movie, we were super excited. And then when he agreed to do Petey, the world's most evilest cat, I can't tell you what perfect casting it is. As you know, Pete is really funny, really nice, and so down to earth. When I ask, can I get you anything? It's like, well, maybe some pizza. I mean, he is, he's a really... He's a New Yorker through and through, but in a really down-to-earth way, even though he's a superstar. He has this, obviously he's super funny, but he has this interior vulnerability that brings Petey's humanity, if you will, or philanity, I don't know if that's a word, brings that kind of evil part of his character coupled with this interior soul that makes the character incredibly lovable, funny, but touching. And that's all Pete. But for this particular character that is, in effect, our villain, but you want to love him, how do you do that? And Pete Davidson has nailed it. Peter is always asking for actors to do like extra crazy sounds, and some actors are more intimidated by that. And Rel is a feast of off the page humor and not afraid. Like once he knows what the goal is, not afraid to go full bore there.